The year was 2157. Earth looked beautiful from the lunar base, a blue marble hanging in the blackness of space. John Miller stood tall as he walked through the halls of the TSV Odyssey for the first time as its captain. The ship was huge, 3 kilometers from front to back. It was the biggest thing humans had ever built. 5,000 crew members would call it home for the next 10 years. John's footsteps echoed as he made his way to the bridge. He nodded at crew members who stopped to salute him. Everyone wore the same dark blue uniforms with silver trim, but John's had the 4 gold stripes of a captain on the sleeves. "Captain on deck," called out Sam Harris, the first officer, as John entered the bridge. The bridge crew stood at attention. John looked at each face. These people would help him lead humanity's greatest journey yet. At ease, he said with a small smile, "Status report." Susan Woods, the chief engineer, stepped forward. Her hands were stained with engine grease, and her red hair was tied back in a messy ponytail. "The fold drive is ready, Captain. We've run all tests twice. It will take us farther and faster than any human has ever gone." Peter Collins, with his round glasses and serious face, checked his science station. "Long-range sensors are working perfectly. We'll be able to scan for habitable planets and signs of life from distances our previous ships could only dream of." Lisa Rodriguez tapped at her communications console. "Translation matrix is online. If we find anyone out there, we'll be ready to talk to them." John nodded and walked to the large viewport. The Odyssey was more than just a ship. It was a flying city, with farms, schools, homes, and factories inside. It carried humanity's best chance to find other intelligent life. In the ship's main hall, thousands gathered to watch the launch ceremony on large screens. Admiral William Davis stood at a podium decorated with Earth's flag. "Today marks the beginning of humanity's greatest adventure," the Admiral said. "The Odyssey carries not just our people and technology, but our hopes and dreams. For centuries we have looked to the stars and wondered if we are alone. Today we take our biggest step toward finding that answer." John watched from the bridge, feeling the weight of command. His thoughts went to his wife Kate and their daughter Amy, both on board in the civilian quarters. He was responsible not just for the mission, but for all these lives. "Departure countdown is starting, Captain," said Sam. "Very well. All stations, final checks," John ordered. The massive engines hummed to life. The Odyssey's docking clamps released with loud metallic clangs. The ship slowly moved away from the lunar base. "Structural integrity good. Power systems nominal," reported Susan from engineering. "Course to Tav City is laid in," said Olivia Green, the navigation officer. Her fingers moved quickly across her console. "Estimated travel time: 6 months with the fold drive." John settled into his command chair. "Communications, send our final message to Earth Control." Lisa nodded. "Channel open, Captain." John took a deep breath. "Earth Control, this is TSV Odyssey. We are clear of dock and proceeding with mission parameters. We carry your hopes with us to the stars." "Godspeed, Odyssey," came the reply. "Make us proud." "Fold drive ready on your command," Susan reported. The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew that once they activated the fold drive, they would go farther from Earth than any humans in history. John looked at the eager faces of his crew, then at the stars waiting ahead. "Engage fold drive," he ordered. The stars outside the viewport stretched into lines of light. The ship shuddered slightly, then steadied. Earth vanished behind them as the Odyssey leaped toward the unknown. The journey to find humanity's place among the stars had begun. 6 months passed on the Odyssey. The giant ship moved smoothly through space, its systems humming with quiet power. Life settled into routines. Children went to school, adults worked their shifts, and everyone got used to living among the stars. Kevin Taylor sat at his communications station during the night shift. Most of the bridge crew was gone, with only a skeleton team keeping watch. Kevin sipped his coffee and watched the screens. His job was to listen to space, to pick up any radio waves or signals that might be out there. The screen in front of him suddenly showed a pattern. It wasn't random noise. It repeated itself every few seconds. Kevin sat up straight and checked his equipment. The pattern kept coming. "Computer, analyze this signal," he said. The computer worked for a moment. "Signal does not match any known natural phenomenon. Pattern suggests artificial origin." Kevin's heart beat faster. He pressed the comm button. "Bridge to Science Officer Collins." "Sir, I think you should see this." Peter Collins arrived on the bridge 10 minutes later, his hair messy from sleep. He looked at Kevin's screen with wide eyes. "How long has this been coming in?" he asked. "About 20 minutes now. It repeats exactly the same way each time." Peter worked the science station controls. "It's not random. There's a pattern here. This isn't coming from Earth. The signal is too clear, and it's coming from ahead of us." They called Captain Miller. Soon the bridge filled with senior officers, all staring at the signal pattern on the main screen. "Could it be a malfunction?" John asked. Susan Woods shook her head. "All systems are working perfectly. This is real." Maria Johnson, the security chief, frowned. Her hand rested near her sidearm out of habit. "We should raise alert level, Captain, just to be safe." "Let's not jump to conclusions," John said. "But yes, increase readiness to level 2. They called Elizabeth Sawyer to the bridge. She was the ship's expert on languages and communication. Her eyes lit up when she saw the signal. "This is incredible," she said. "Look at these patterns. They're using mathematics, prime numbers, geometric sequences. This is how you'd try to talk to someone if you didn't share a language. Someone intelligent made this." The crew looked at each other. What Elizabeth was saying was clear. This wasn't a signal from Earth. It wasn't from humans at all. "Can you figure out what it means?" John asked. Elizabeth studied the patterns. I think part of this is location data, coordinates, and they're close to where we're headed." "Ta City." Susan reported from her station. "Captain, the signal is doing something strange to our fold drive. Nothing dangerous, but it's like it's tuning it somehow." John walked to the viewport and looked at the stars. After all the years of wondering, humanity might have its answer. They were not alone. "Keep monitoring the signal. Dr. Sawyer, get your team working on a translation. I want to know what they're saying, if they're saying anything." John turned to Maria. "Upgrade security protocols, but quietly. I don't want the crew worried. This could be our first contact with alien life. Let's hope they're friendly." Word spread through the ship despite their efforts to keep it quiet. People gathered in small groups, talking in excited whispers. Some were scared, others thrilled. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they might have their answer. The Odyssey continued toward Ta City. The signal grew stronger each day. In her lab, Elizabeth and her team worked day and night to understand it. Engineers studied how it affected the fold drive. Security teams ran drills, just in case. Captain Miller recorded a message in his private log. "We've trained for this, but I don't think anyone is truly prepared. We might be the first humans to meet beings from another world. Everything changes from here." The Odyssey moved forward, carrying humanity toward its greatest discovery. The Odyssey reached the edge of the Ta City system. Captain John Miller ordered the ship to drop out of fold space. The massive engines powered down with a low hum, and the stars stopped stretching across the viewport. "All stations, report," John said, his voice calm despite his racing heart. "Navigation confirms we've arrived at Ta City," said Olivia. "We're exactly where we plan to be." "All systems nominal," Susan added from engineering. John nodded. "Sensors, full scan of the area." Peter worked his console. Suddenly, his face went pale. "Captain, we're not alone." The main screen changed to show the space around them. 3 massive ships appeared, surrounding the Odyssey. They were huge, even bigger than the human vessel. Their surfaces shimmered with colors that seemed to flow like water. They had no sharp edges. Their shapes were smooth and curved in ways that no human ship had ever been built. "Red alert," John ordered. Alarm lights flashed across the bridge. "Defensive systems on standby." Maria moved to the weapons station. "They've made no aggressive moves, Captain, but they could at any moment." The alien ships sent out beams of light that passed through the Odyssey. The beams didn't hurt anything, but the crew could feel them. "They're scanning us," Peter said. "I can track the beams moving through all decks. They're looking at everything. Our engines, our people, our technology." John took a deep breath. This was the moment humanity had prepared for since they first looked up at the stars. "First contact. Open all communication channels," he ordered Lisa. "Let them know we come in peace." Lisa worked her console. "Channels open, Captain." John stood tall. "This is Captain John Miller of the Earth vessel TSV Odyssey. We come from a planet called Earth. We are on a mission of peace and discovery. We wish to establish friendly contact with your people." The bridge fell silent. Everyone waited. The alien ships continued to scan the Odyssey, but made no other moves. Minutes passed, then an hour. The alien ships remained still. "Why aren't they answering?" Sam asked quietly. Elizabeth worked frantically at her station. "They're sending signals, but not on any frequency we expected. I'm trying to adjust." There. The main screen filled with strange symbols that moved and changed. "That's their language," Elizabeth said. "The computer is trying to match it with the patterns we studied earlier. I think, yes, we're getting something." The symbols shifted and formed words in English. IDENTI, purpose, intentions. John repeated his message, speaking clearly. "I am John Miller. We are humans from planet Earth. Our purpose is peaceful exploration. Our intention is friendship." More silence. The crew waited anxiously. Finally, the alien ships moved. They shifted positions, creating a clear path forward, deeper into the TAS-CD system. "I think they want us to follow them," Olivia said. John looked at his senior officers. Opinions. Maria frowned. "It could be a trap." "Or a greeting," Elizabeth countered. "Different cultures have different ways of saying hello." "We came all this way to meet them," Peter said. "We can't turn back now." John nodded. "Set course to follow. Keep defensive systems ready, but do not target them. We'll trust them until they give us reason not to." The Odyssey's engines hummed to life. The massive ship moved forward, following the alien vessels deeper into the system. On the lower decks, crew members gathered at viewports, staring in wonder at the alien ships. Parents held their children up to see. Some people prayed. Others recorded the moment with cameras. All of humanity's history had led to this moment. "Send a message to Earth," John told Lisa. "Tell them we've made contact." The Odyssey followed the alien ships toward an unknown destination, carrying humanity into a new era. The Odyssey followed the 3 alien ships for 2 days. They traveled deeper into the TAS-CD system, past rocky planets and gas giants. Finally, they approached a massive structure orbiting the 4th planet. It looked like a giant wheel in space, spinning slowly. Hundreds of ships of different sizes and shapes moved around it. "My God," whispered John as he looked at the main screen. "It's some kind of space station." Peter's sensors worked overtime. "The structure is about 20 kilometers across. It's generating its own gravity. And Captain, those ships, they're all different designs. I think they might be from different species." The crew stared in amazement. Humanity had found not just one alien civilization, but what looked like many. The alien escort guided the Odyssey to a docking area big enough for the huge human ship. Mechanical arms extended from the station and locked onto the Odyssey's hull. "We've received a transmission," Lisa said. "Text only. It says, 'Prepare delegation. 5 members. Central meeting chamber.'" John nodded. "Looks like we're invited to talk." He turned to his officers. "I'll lead the delegation. Dr. Sawyer, you'll come for communications. Chief Johnson for security. Officer Collins for science. First Officer Harris will remain in command of the Odyssey. Sam looked concerned. Captain, maybe you shouldn't go. It's too risky. This is why we came, John replied. I won't send others to make first contact while I hide on the ship. The delegation prepared in the airlock. They wore their dress uniforms but carried no weapons except for Maria, who insisted on a small sidearm. Elizabeth brought translation devices. The airlock opened to reveal a long corridor with glowing walls. A figure waited for them. It was tall and slender with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer like the hulls of their ships. It had 4 arms and a face with large, dark eyes. Welcome, it said through a device around its neck. I am Sailor, diplomat of the Aralaxian people. Please follow. They walked through corridors filled with strange sights. Creatures of different shapes and sizes moved about. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien. Floating gas clouds, insect-like beings, creatures that seemed made of crystal. How many species are here? Peter asked, trying to count them all. The assembly consists of 27 spacefaring civilizations, Sailor replied. Some ancient, some young. You are the newest to join our community. They entered a large circular room with raised platforms around the edges. On each platform stood representatives of different species. Some sat in strange chairs. Others floated in tanks of liquid. This is the Assembly Council, Sailor explained. They wish to know about humanity. The human delegation stood in the center of the room. John stepped forward and introduced each member of his team. He explained where Earth was, how humans had developed, and why they had built the Odyssey. We come seeking knowledge and friendship, he finished. An elder Aralaxian spoke from the highest platform. Your arrival is unusual. Most species are discovered by our exploration teams long before they develop full space technology. You have advanced quickly. Another alien, with features like a large reptile, spoke next. Perhaps too quickly. Their history shows much conflict. John felt uncomfortable. They seemed to know about Earth already. How was that possible? A small, floating creature spoke in musical tones. They show promise as well. Creativity. Adaptability. These are valuable traits. Sailor turned to the humans. You must understand, your sudden appearance with advanced technology has caused concern among some assembly members. What does that mean for us? John asked. The elder Aralaxian's eyes narrowed. It means, Captain Miller, that humanity must prove itself worthy of joining our community. Not all new species are welcomed immediately. Some must first be evaluated. John looked around the chamber at the alien faces studying them. He realized this wasn't just a greeting. It was a trial. Humanity was being judged. The human delegation was led to a smaller chamber after the first meeting. The walls were curved and the ceiling high. 7 aliens from different species sat in a half-circle, facing them. The elder Aralaxian, named Zorax, sat in the center. We must learn more about your species before we decide your status, Zorax said. His voice was calm but firm. The questions began. They asked about Earth's history, governments, wars, and technology. Each answer seemed to make some aliens nod while others shook their heads or made clicking sounds. You have fought 3 world wars, asked a short, furry alien with large ears. Yes, John admitted, but the last one was over 50 years ago. We've learned from our mistakes. Yet you still maintain nuclear weapons, said another alien that looked like a tall praying mantis. Some nations do, as a deterrent, but they haven't been used in war for over a century, John explained. Peter showed them data about Earth's scientific progress. Elizabeth talked about human cultures and arts. Maria described Earth's defense systems honestly but carefully. Zorax seemed most concerned about the full drive. How do humans develop this technology without assistance? Most species require centuries more evolution before such discoveries. John didn't know how to answer. Our scientists built upon previous theories. It was a natural progression of our understanding of physics. The mantis-like alien leaned forward. We believe humanity is too volatile for unrestricted space travel. You advance quickly but lack the wisdom to use such power safely. That's not fair, John argued. You can't judge our entire species based on past mistakes. Can't we? Asked a blue crystalline being. Your own planet bears the scars of your development. Extinct species, damaged ecosystems, nuclear test sites still radioactive after decades. Lisa whispered to John, Captain, I'm noticing patterns in how they interact. Some seem to be working together against us. I think there are political factions here. During a break in the questioning, a human man approached them in the hallway. He had gray hair and wore clothing similar to the Eralaxians. My name is Alan Nelson, he said quietly. Don't act surprised to see me. The delegation stared in shock. How are you here? Elizabeth asked. We're supposed to be the first humans to meet aliens. Alan smiled sadly. That's what Earth thinks. The truth is, aliens have known about Earth for centuries. Research ships took small groups of humans for study. Some of us have lived in the assembly for generations. Why didn't they make official contact? John asked. Assembly law forbids contacting developing worlds until they reach certain milestones. You weren't supposed to be found until you developed better clean energy technology. Your full drive surprised everyone by working before that. Maria frowned. So they've been watching us. From a distance, Alan explained. Look, I don't have much time. Some factions want Earth quarantined. They'll send you home with your full drive disabled. But others see potential in humans. I can help you navigate assembly politics. Why would you help us? John asked. Because I'm still human. And because the assembly needs fresh perspectives. The older species have become set in their ways. Alan told them about allies they could make among the assembly members. He explained council customs that would help them appear respectful. Then he handed John a small device. This contains information about previous species who were tested for membership. Study it tonight. Tomorrow will be critical. Before they could ask more questions, Alan slipped away as Zorax approached. Your examination continues tomorrow, the elder Eralaxian said. We have much more to discuss about humanity's place in the greater community, if there is to be one. The humans returned to the Odyssey that night, their minds racing with new information. Earth was not as alone as they had believed. And now, their actions would determine humanity's future among the stars. The next morning, the human delegation returned to the assembly station. Zorax and the council waited for them in the grand chamber. More aliens watched from viewing areas around the walls. We have reached a decision regarding humanity, Zorax announced. We propose a test. John stood tall. What kind of test? A hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a planet with stormy skies and shaking ground. This is Navara, in a nearby system, Zorax explained. The people there are pre-spaceflight, similar to Earth's medieval period. Their planet's orbit is decaying. In 2 years, it will become uninhabitable. In 10 years, it will break apart. The mantis-like alien spoke next. The people will die unless helped. But our oldest law forbids interfering with developing worlds. They must not know about advanced technology or life beyond their world. John understood the challenge. You want us to save them without revealing ourselves. Precisely, said Zorax. If humanity passes this test, you will earn a place in the assembly. If you fail, or if you choose not to accept, the Odyssey will be sent home. Your full drive will be disabled. Earth will be quarantined until you are deemed ready. The human delegation asked to discuss privately. They moved to a small side room. It's a trap, Maria said. They're setting us up to fail. Maybe, Peter agreed. But we can't just let those people die. And we can't go home with our drive disabled. Susan added. Earth is counting on what we bring back. John thought about the information Alan had given them. Other species have faced similar tests. Some passed. We need to try. They returned to the council and accepted the challenge. The Odyssey was given permission to travel to the Navara system. Alan secretly provided them with more details about the planet and its people. Back on the Odyssey, Susan worked with her engineering team. They studied the planet's decaying orbit. "I think we can use the fold drive in a new way," she told the captain. "If we create small fold space pockets as strategic points around the planet, we could generate a gravity well. It would slowly pull the planet back into a stable orbit." "Would it work?" John asked. "In theory, but we need to place anchor devices on the planet's surface to guide the fold space pockets. Someone would have to go down there." Maria volunteered to lead the mission to the surface. "My team can place the anchors without being seen." 2 days later, the Odyssey reached Navara. From orbit, they could see the planet's condition was worse than reported. Storms raged across entire continents. Volcanoes erupted along coastal regions. The people below were suffering. Maria's team prepared for their covert mission. They would wear clothing similar to the Navarans and hide their technology. The plan was to place 7 anchor devices around the planet, then return to the Odyssey before activating the fold space system. "Remember," John told them before they left, "under no circumstances can you reveal yourselves or your technology. The entire test depends on this." The team nodded. They understood the stakes. Peter's science team monitored the planet. "Captain, I'm detecting increased seismic activity near the largest population center. It looks like a major earthquake building up." John frowned. "How soon?" "Hours, maybe less. It could kill thousands." Maria and her team were already heading to the shuttle bay. They had trained for stealth missions, but never with so much at stake. If they failed, an entire civilization would die. If they broke the rules, humanity would be sent home in disgrace. John watched the shuttle depart. "Good luck," he whispered. "The future of 2 worlds depends on you now." Maria and her team of 6 landed their shuttle in a forested area far from any settlements. They wore simple clothing that matched what the Navaran people wore. Their anchor devices were hidden in cloth bags. "Remember, we look like them, but don't speak unless necessary," Maria told her team. "Place the anchors according to the map and meet back here in 12 hours." The teams split up, heading to different parts of the planet. Maria and Eric went toward the largest city, where the earthquake risk was highest. On the Odyssey, Peter monitored the planet's condition. "Captain, the seismic readings are getting worse. That earthquake could hit within hours." John paced the bridge. "Keep me updated on all team positions." Maria and Eric reached a hill overlooking a large city. Stone buildings lined busy streets. People moved about, unaware of their planet's danger. To the west, a mountain range showed signs of volcanic activity. "We need to place the anchor at the exact spot Susan calculated," Maria said, checking her hidden scanner. "It's near that mountain." They hiked toward the location. As they got closer, they felt the ground shake. "It's starting," Eric whispered. Back on the Odyssey, alarms blared. "Captain," Peter shouted, "the earthquake is happening now. Magnitude is off the charts." John rushed to the screen. "Where's Maria's team?" "Right at the epicenter." On the planet, Maria and Eric felt the ground lurch beneath them. In the distance, buildings in the city began to crumble. People screamed and ran for safety. "We need to place the anchor now," Maria said. They reached the location, but the shaking made it hard to stand. Worse, they saw the mountain crack open. Lava began to flow toward the city. "The volcano wasn't supposed to erupt yet," Eric said. "Those people have no time to evacuate." Maria looked at her scanner, then at the city. Thousands would die if the lava reached them. She had the technology to stop it, but using it would break the assembly's rules. "Eric, place the anchor," she ordered. "I'm going to stop that lava flow." "But the rules." "I know the rules." Maria pulled out a small device from her pack. "But I won't watch thousands die when I can save them." On the Odyssey, Peter's console beeped. Captain, I'm detecting an energy signature from Maria's position. She's using our technology. John's face went pale. Contact her immediately. But it was too late. Maria had activated a force field generator, creating an invisible barrier that diverted the lava flow away from the city. The Navarans wouldn't understand what had happened, but they would live. The other teams successfully placed their anchors without being detected. When Maria and Eric returned to the shuttle, John was waiting on the comm. You broke the assembly's primary rule, he said gravely. Maria stood straight. Yes, sir. I did. I couldn't let them die. You may have just cost humanity its place in the assembly. If saving innocent lives costs us that place, then maybe it's not a place we want. The Odyssey activated Susan's plan despite the breach. The fold drive created controlled pockets of space-time around the anchors. Slowly, the planet's orbit began to stabilize. When they returned to the assembly station, the council was waiting. Zorak's expression was unreadable. You interfered with the natural development of the Navaran people, he stated. You violated our most sacred law. John stepped forward. Yes. One of my officers made that choice. I take full responsibility. The rest of your mission was completed correctly. The planet will now survive. That doesn't matter, said the Mantis alien. Rules were broken. Humanity has failed the test. John looked at each council member. If being part of your assembly means watching innocent people die when we have the power to save them, then perhaps humanity isn't ready for membership after all. The council chamber erupted in argument. Some aliens supported the humans. Others demanded they be sent home immediately. The future of Earth hung in the balance. For 3 days, the council debated humanity's fate. The Odyssey crew waited nervously on their ship, docked at the station. John spent the time preparing for the worst. If they were sent home with a disabled fold drive, the journey would take decades. Finally, they were called back to the council chamber. The mood was tense as the human delegation entered. They stood in the center as all 27 species watched from their platforms. Zorax spoke first. We have reached a decision about humanity. John stood tall, ready to accept whatever came. The vote was close, Zorax continued. Many believe your actions on Navara showed disregard for our laws. Others saw it differently. The crystalline being glowed brightly as it spoke. Your officer chose lives over rules. This is not the first time we have seen such a choice. It reveals something important about your species. John was surprised. He had expected only condemnation. Zorax nodded. The assembly has existed for 50,000 years. In that time, we have learned that laws must serve life, not the other way around. Your test was not just about following instructions. It was about showing us your true nature. The Mantis alien clicked its mandibles in disagreement. Still, there must be consequences. Rules cannot be broken without cost. We agree, said Zorax. Therefore, our decision is this. Earth will be granted provisional membership in the Assembly, with limitations on expansion and technology sharing. The Odyssey will serve as Earth's embassy among us. Captain Miller will be Earth's first ambassador. John could hardly believe what he was hearing. You're not sending us home. No, but full membership must be earned over time. You will help guide your people into the galactic community gradually. Relief washed over the human delegation. They had not failed after all. When they returned to the Odyssey, the crew celebrated the news. Earth would not be alone in the universe anymore. Humans would learn from older civilizations and share their own unique perspectives. In the following weeks, engineers from 3 different species worked with Susan, fascinated by humanity's approach to fold drive technology. Elizabeth started a cultural exchange program. Peter worked with alien scientists to learn about worlds humans had never imagined. One evening, John stood at the viewport in his quarters, looking at the assembly station. Alan Nelson joined him. You surprised many of them, Alan said. Most expected you to either follow the rules blindly or rebel completely. Instead, you showed them something new. fulfilling the mission while still saving lives. It wasn't planned that way, John admitted. That's exactly the point. Humanity acts from the heart as well as the mind. The older species have forgotten how to do that. They're curious about you. Some are even a little afraid. Afraid of us? Alan smiled. Humans adapt faster than any species they've encountered. You solve problems in unexpected ways. That unpredictability makes you dangerous and valuable. John thought about the responsibility now on his shoulders. He would need to record a message for Earth, explaining everything that had happened. The news would change human society forever. What happens now? He asked. Now you help build bridges between worlds, Alan replied. The assembly needs fresh ideas. Earth needs the wisdom of older civilizations. It won't be easy, but it will be important. The next day, John gathered his senior officers. They had a new mission now, not just exploration, but diplomacy. They would represent all of humanity among the stars. As alien vessels prepared to escort the Odyssey on the next leg of its journey, John recorded his message to Earth. He ended it with words he hoped would guide humanity in the coming years. We are not alone, and we are not unwelcome. The universe is larger and more complex than we ever imagined. Our journey has only just begun. The stars are no longer distant lights, but homes of new friends waiting to be made. Humanity has found its place among them. Now we must prove we deserve it.